Good morning, guys, and happy Friday. I wanted to go live real quick just to let you guys know that our Sync 60 challenge has begun. We actually started it on Monday, this last Monday in Sync Academy. So if you are in Sync Academy, but you haven't filled out the progress chart, please go ahead and do that. It's inside of our courses sections. You just go to the Sync 60 course, and then you'll actually see our progress chart right there as the featured post in the beginning. Make sure you do participate. Right now, I'm seeing that we have about 113 members that have signed up. You guys have filled out all of your weekly goals and your overall goals, so thumbs up for you guys. And I've actually already been seeing this morning a lot of people already completing their first week's goal on the progress chart, and some of you are even posting it to the platform and letting us know that you're already ahead of the schedule. So this is so far a very, very productive Sync 60, and I think most of you guys, as long as you can stick with us through these 8 weeks, you're going to absolutely achieve those personalized goals that you set for yourself. Again, the whole point of Sync 60 is for all of us to create our own individual goal, no matter how small. It can be very, very simple, something as simple as learning how to use a new software program, or maybe get to learn your DAW better, or learn a new keyboard or something like that. Or it can be all the way up to completing a full 10 or 12 track album, and then on the last day getting prepared to start submitting it to maybe your first library, or maybe you need to start partnering with that second library that I do recommend you guys do. Maybe partner with 2, max 3 at a time. So maybe now you're in a process where you need to start thinking about building a new album to submit to that next library, so you can now A/B compare your results with these 2 different companies. So wherever you are in your licensing career, Sync 60 is for you. It's designed for you, and it's also designed to have you be a part of a community of other hardworking producers and musicians just like you, who are also very ambitious, also have the same drive, same passion. But sometimes it's just we need to be a sort of collective unit. Sometimes we need a little bit of that kick in the butt and some accountability to make sure that we do hit those goals. And one of the big things for being able to achieve your goals is writing it down, and not only that, writing it down in a public place where you can be held accountable by other members. And that's what Sync 60 and the progress chart is all about. And of course, hopefully you guys are aware that this Sync 60 challenge, I'm adding even another carrot, or another benefit for those of you that do join. Obviously, you need to be in Sync Academy, and most importantly, you need to be able to mark yes every single week, right? Starting with this week. So that's why you do need to join. If you're not in Sync Academy, you have basically 3 days to join, get that first week's goal. You are kind of on crunch time right now because week 1 ends this coming Monday, but you do have a couple of days at least so you could get started, maybe create that first week's goal to be a very simple, easy thing that you can get done, and then map out the rest of your goal. Okay, so you do need to, if you want to qualify to win our prize this year, which is going to be, or at least for this first one, is going to be this Complete Control. I always do it the wrong way. There you go. Complete Control S649 keyboard there, which does come with the Contact Select 11 software. So you're going to get plugins and sounds and really cool stuff built right in with this keyboard. And it's a really interesting keyboard that you can basically directly manipulate the parameters and all the presets right here from the keyboard. So it's actually going to save you time. And I know that a lot of people that use this keyboard actually swear by it and really think that it really boosted and sped up their production process. So to be able to manipulate and customize all the sounds that they use with Native Instruments and the plugins that are completed there. So not only do you get the keyboard, but you're going to get the plugins, obviously, so you can start using it right away. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you that are in Sync Academy and you marked yes every single week, I'm going to be going in and making notes, making sure that I keep track of this stuff. And obviously, most importantly, you stick with us all the way to the very end and get your 60-day goal completed. You are going to be entered into a contest where I'm going to pick a random member. I'll have a random number generator. I'll have some sort of fun way to do it, and I'll probably do it live here on YouTube. And I will select one of you that completed your entire goal, and you will win this keyboard, okay? And what I'll do is I'll just reach out to you, get your mailing address, and I'll ship it right to you immediately, as soon as possible. I'll pay for the overnight shipping or whatever it's going to be. I will make sure you get it right away so you can start using this awesome piece of gear in your licensing career, okay? So the whole point of that is just, again, to just add a little bit more of an incentive, a little bit more of a carrot for all of you guys to participate. I know a lot of you guys would find this very useful and valuable for your production approach. But obviously the biggest carrot, the biggest benefit that you're going to get from Sync 60 is completing your own goal, right? And I've said this so many times about Sync 60 and why I've designed this to be a 60-day challenge, why I think it was planned out this way, is because in the licensing industry, this is going to be your career every single month. And basically, it's going to be a series of somebody asks you for music, you need to go create that music, you need to structure your schedule, you need to plan for the time to get that done, you need to map out like how long is it going to take realistically to get this done, maybe create those sub goals. It could be weekly, it could be daily, I mean, depending on what your deadline is going to be. But this one single ability to get a opportunity, get a brief, get some sort of a request from a library or a supervisor or anybody you're working with, and for you to be able to execute on that on time and hopefully maybe even ahead of schedule and over deliver, that's really it. You're not going to get to the place where you're getting passive income royalties, huge sync fees, accepted by a lot. You're not getting into any of that stuff until you can master this one very, very simple. It's simple, it's not easy, but a very simple skill set essentially, which is just setting that goal, mapping it out, and of course executing it. So that's why I've designed Sync60 to be the way that it is. And of course, this really does help to be a part of a community. When you have other people around you that are also as crazy as you are to go for this, right? To really sort of put a big focus of their music career and your life for sync licensing. You can feel really lonely. You can feel really kind of crazy out there because I know a lot of people don't understand what we do. They have no understanding of what it is that we're trying to accomplish or how this industry works. So I understand the confusion that you, or maybe some of the doubt that you're getting from your friends, family, coworkers, that kind of thing. But you don't get any of that in Sync Academy, okay? So we all obviously see the vision. We obviously all know that this is a realistic path, that it's a proven path, and that we actually have members that are constantly updating us. And I'm the one obviously always promoting those and letting you guys know about, hey, this member just got accepted. This member just got a placement. This member just got their first royalty check. I'm doing that just so you guys know you are not crazy. This is actually, it's not easy, but it's very, very achievable. It's very realistic, but it does take that consistency, of course. And this Sync60 challenge is one of the main ways you're going to separate yourself from 95% of all the other producers that bail out of this business. They get excited for a couple of weeks or a couple of months and then they're gone. Where did they go? I don't know. Because they didn't get the overnight success, because they expected, a 6-figure check in their bank account immediately, and they didn't sort of have realistic expectations for what it's really going to take to succeed. And I think this one skill set, setting your goal, mapping it out, and achieving it is actually going to be step one for wherever you are. You're brand new to producing music. You don't know how to use a DAW. That's fine. You can use Sync60 to learn that. You've already got that, and you want to learn how to, or you want to put together that next album to pitch it. It doesn't matter. This is the skill set that, I wish I had this when I was just getting started in the industry, because I had one library partner I was working with, and I knew that I should have partnered with a second one fairly quickly, but it took me a long time to do it because I was scared, I was nervous, I didn't have the discipline to know how to do this, how to basically still supply the needs of a library I was partnered with, but also schedule some time out to create that second album, to have a completed album to go to that next library. This kind of stuff just didn't occur to me. There was no educational platform out there. There was no YouTube channels out there talking about this kind of stuff. So I really made a lot of dumb mistakes and probably spent way too much time just focused on one library when I should have started to partner with other ones very, very quickly or much sooner in my career. So I want you guys to not make that same mistake. I want you guys to know that if you have a goal, if there's something that you've been meaning to want to achieve, and you know now that obviously with the new year, you've probably got that sense of new optimism, kind of new energy, and you definitely don't want to do maybe what you did in 2019, join us. Get on board. There's going to be a link in the description box below. I'd love to have you join us in Sync Academy, because not only are you going to participate in Sync60, but you get access to 100 plus hours of tutorials, and actually what I'm going to be coming up to release on February 1st. So if you join us today, you'll get access to this on February 1st. Will be a whole series of contract templates, so that if you need to have a co-writing split sheet with somebody that you write a song with, you need to have a musician or a singer sign a work for hire, so you just hire them in to do some work for you for the day. I'm going to have that. I'll also have a direct licensing contract, so if you don't go through a library and somebody approaches you directly and wants to license your music, you have a contract template set up for that. We'll have that, and also there'll be a non-disclosure agreement, a non-compete agreement. So a lot of just basic contracts that a lot of us do use. I use them in this industry all the time, so I'm going to make sure you guys have access to those templates. You basically download them. I'll have it in a Word and a PDF format, and you just swap out your information and artist, whoever you're going to be contracting with, and then you can get them to sign off. And you've got all those resources coming your way here in Sync Academy, okay? Not to mention all that, of course, Feedback Corner, probably the most popular part of Sync Academy, where you can regularly log in and post your tracks and get really helpful, useful, insightful advice from other members in the Academy. And obviously, we require and ask that if you're going to ask for feedback from other members, you need to give give very constructive and helpful feedback to other members. So this kind of golden rule that we have going on here is what keeps this feedback corner, I think, the strongest feedback area. I know there's other places and Facebook groups and that kind of thing where you can get feedback, but I think I've never seen anything this positive, this proactive, and also this many members taking like the time, the actual time, not just to say, cool track, dude. That doesn't really help. I mean, it's nice to hear a nice compliment, but I've really structured it in a way so that if anybody's giving you feedback on your tracks, then you'd be very specific and constructive about if something's weak, not just to say, that's not so good, but actually point out, maybe you might want to try X or Y or try this or try that. Or if they love your track, to point out the specific points of your track that they're really loving, that's really working, okay? So you're going to probably get the best feedback and the best kind of insights on your music that you possibly can. And let's not, that just having that alone is one of the things that I remember way back when I first started, that, sometimes I'd send my tracks to a friend or maybe a colleague in the industry, but not all the time. But I do remember when I would send a track to a buddy and he would give me this great feedback. Oh, I love that. It was really cool. That really just kind of made my day, sometimes made my entire week or even month. And it just gave me that motivation and inspiration to keep going and to just get inspired and excited for the next track. So just communicating, interacting, getting feedback from other people, and also getting insights on what's not working. You might be constantly getting kind of a similar note from a lot of other members saying, your mix is a little bit on the quiet side, or, those drums, they feel kind of fake. They don't really feel lifelike. Your strings, they really need to be more automated or composed a little bit more carefully. Whatever it might be, you'll start to see these patterns with the notes that you get in Feedback Corner, and then you'll know what you need to really be focusing on. And that might actually show you a little bit more about where you should be steering your Sync 60 challenge. And it's okay that, if halfway through your Sync 60 challenge, you realize, what, the goal that I thought I needed to achieve is really not what I should work on right now. I think I need to simplify this and maybe come back down to something a lot more achievable, or just do something different. That is what Sync 60 is for. It's not a failure. You didn't screw it up. That's actually a success of Sync 60, because it's really supposed to be a very revealing process for you to become more self-aware of where you are in the industry. Because I know a lot of producers think they've got music up here, their music is really down here, and nobody's really given them honest insights before. Nobody's really given that feedback yet. So part of this is also for you to just become really self-aware of what your limitations are, right? Once you learn where your limitations are and your weaknesses are, really, that's where you need to start spending the time focusing and developing it. Again, another mistake that I made. My mixes were very weak in the beginning of my career, very quiet, not really impactful. I think I made that mistake that a lot of you guys maybe have made, where I thought to get a bigger track, I had to just have more stuff going on. So I just would stack up all of my sessions with, 4 different hi-hats and, 6 different snares and 4 different kicks and all these different percussion and leads and multiple leads. And it was just really noisy. A lot of stuff that it ended up being very noisy and not actually big. It just became really jumbled and a mess. So I want to make sure that you guys, and back then my mistake was that I didn't go ahead, because I kind of, in the back of my mind, I knew all that. And some of you guys probably right now watching this, what your one weakness or a couple of your weaknesses really are. If you really think about it, you probably already know what it is. But it's a tough thing to address that and to face it and to realize and admit that, I got some work to do in this one area. I'm telling you though, the sooner you can just admit that, just, get your ego out of the way and just accept the fact that there's some things we all have to work on. None of us are perfect. None of us were born with all of these skills. We all had to acquire them. But the sooner you can get to that point and the sooner you can start improving those things, they'll no longer be weaknesses. They'll no longer be things that you're insecure about or that you're kind of avoiding subconsciously, not even want to think about or admit to yourself, right? So it's better just to be honest with that, and especially now in a new year, in a new decade. What better way to start off your career or start off the next leg of your music licensing career by just being honest with yourself and just really discovering where it is that you really need to work on. So that's what really Sync Academy is all about, with all the tutorials to help you do that. And of course, with Sync 60, that's really what it's about. So I encourage each and every one of you, if you're in Sync Academy, we have a lot more than 113 members. So I know a lot of you guys have fallen asleep on the wheel, or maybe you weren't aware that we're doing that. So I will post this video in Sync Academy to make sure you guys are all very reminded that we need to get as many of you guys to be doing this as possible. All of you have something you can be doing for the next 60 days. All of you have some reason why you can participate to achieve that goal. Okay, so I want to make sure you guys are all aware of it. And if you're not in Sync Academy, I hope you join us today. I hope this is one of the things that can help make that decision for you, that deciding factor to decide that it's a new year, it's a new decade, and it's time time to start getting to work, and it's time to start being serious and getting serious about your licensing career, okay? No longer hoping and wishing that maybe one day somebody will come and reach out to me and offer me all this money and all these placements, and that'd be great. Or no longer pitching or spending money on some like middleman, cattle call company where you're one out of 10,000 people and you just hope maybe that next one that you submit to, maybe that one will land you. These are not serious approaches to the licensing industry. Again, as I've said so many times, you got to create direct relationships with libraries. And before you do that, you got to have licensable, high quality music. Okay. So you create the product, you go find the client that you want to serve with that product, create a specific, unique pitch to those clients. No spamming. That's what a lot of people do. You don't spam 18 different companies and hope one of them sticks. You do your research, you find out who you really want to partner with, and most importantly, if your tracks can be really useful for them and their clients, okay? Direct relationships between you and the people that can get your tracks placed, okay? No middleman companies. These are not the companies, these are not the approaches that are going to land you in full-time income. That's for part-time, dabbling, hoping and wishing people, okay? If you don't want to be in that crowd, and that's where a lot of the herd goes, then do something a little bit smarter, a little bit different. And I so think, and it's so possible for you to do all of this 100% by directly partnering with libraries. And I think actually that is really the only way that you're going to turn this into a full-time income. You got to have people's, they have to have your phone number in their phone, their cell phone. They have to have your email address in their inbox, and you have to have a personalized relationship with these people. You got to call them. They got to call you. You got to email them. It's got to be a back and forth, a give and take. And it's nothing. It's not magic. It's just a service industry. Okay. So if you can kind of get that understanding through that, that's all you're going to be doing in this business is you're going to be creating a high quality product, and you're going to go find a client that really wants to pay and use your product, and obviously can get those tracks placed in recurring royalty generating avenues like TV, film, movies, that kind of thing, right? So that's what it's all about. I encourage you guys all to join. If you're not in Sync Academy, the link will be in the description box below. And I cannot wait to see and hear about all the success stories that are going to be coming down the pipeline. I know we're going to get a lot of them this time because I just feel something, and it's probably the new year, but I can definitely feel the energy of this one is really sort of, it's boiling up very, very quickly here. So I'm very excited, and I can't wait to celebrate you guys and see what you guys get done with Sync 60. So if you have any questions, you can always email me, jesse@syncmymusic.com, or of course you can post underneath this video, and I'll be happy to respond. So here's to your guys' success. Happy New Year, happy new decade, and we'll see you guys soon, hopefully in Sync Academy.